Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. It has been an amazing day. We've had some amazing speakers already. And if you've missed any of them, make sure that you go back and watch the replay because a lot of words of wisdom. And we are all here for you as a member of this amazing group. You have an opportunity to hear from experts about a variety of things, all to help you. So I'm glad you're here. My name is Vanessa Cardenas, a wonderful group. It is a space to be able to share what's going on for you, what's coming up, what you're feeling, how you're feeling. Get some support just to know that what you're experiencing, it's not unusual. It's not. Sometimes we feel that it's only us, that there's no one else that feels this way. And while you are completely unique and your relationship and your divorce proceedings and everything else are unique, there is some commonality to it. And the feelings that you have, yes, Brene Brown said it correctly, that we have over 60 different emotions. I know the one that comes up the most for a lot of my clients is anger and then sadness. So let me backpedal a little bit. Who am I? Well, I am Vanessa Cardenas, and I am a relationship reset expert. My specialty is in betrayal recovery. And when people ask me in this group, well, wait a second, you're a relationship reset. I'm not interested in getting back together with my ex. I get that. The relationship doesn't necessarily need to be with another person. The relationship is the one you have with yourself. Because not for nothing, we're usually pretty battered and bruised after the experience of going through divorce. So depending on where you are at this moment in time, whether you're contemplating divorce, you've discovered something, things aren't right, either there was a catastrophic thing that happened, such as it's been a slow burn for quite a while, and you're exploring the idea of divorce, and you kind of want to get a sense of what to anticipate and to expect. So we have a group that's that. We have those of us within this support group that have already gone through. They're in the process. They're in the nitty gritty of it. They're asking for more legal advice, more financial advice, more support. Just, am I doing the right thing? We have that. And then we have those that have been divorced for quite a while and looking for camaraderie and understanding and help with dating and another relationship. So there are 3 different camps here within this group. And I've had the pleasure of speaking at the last, I want to say 7, could be 8, last 7 summits. I'm not a rinse and repeat, not at all. I give brand new information each and every time. So a lot of the other topics that I've spoken about previously have been well received. And I really thank you for your participation here. It's an honor and it's a privilege to be able to share the wisdom that I have curated over time. And as I mentioned, I'm a betrayal recovery specialist. No one studies betrayal unless they've actually gone through it, and I went through it. My husband of over 20 years said 3 words to me that I never ever thought he would say. I've met someone. And just like that, my whole world shattered into a zillion pieces. And I found myself really struggling, really struggling. I couldn't understand how I, as a smart woman, I have a psychology degree, how come I was suffering in the manner that I was? And why couldn't I fix myself? Why couldn't I fix him? Yeah. And it wasn't until I picked myself up off that floor and dusted myself off and really came to the conclusion that I really had 2 choices, to either stay stuck or move forward. And I moved forward 10 years later. It's glorious. How I usually like to start, when I start with this type of interaction is I usually read off some comments that I got from my previous one, just so that you get an idea, a feel for how I operate. I had a couple of comments related to a couple of the previous summits, as I mentioned. And if there is anybody that you have seen so far or will see into the rest of the day that you really like what they said, you're like, yeah, yeah, they said something, I want to see more of them. Go back through the group, search by their name, search by hashtag summit, and you will find the previous talks that they've had here. You will find their previous posts, things of that nature. As I mentioned, we're all here for you. But do keep in mind that answering posts and being in front of you in this manner, it's hard to have a dialogue. As much as we want to have a dialogue with you, it is still a distance. There still is a screen between us, and sometimes things can get lost in translation. Sometimes things can get lost in the tonality of something, and that can prove to be very challenging, especially if you're really hurting. If you're really, really hurting, I'd strongly encourage you to connect with any one of the experts or any one of the moderators to get that necessary help, to get that one-on-one help, because it makes a world of difference. It's great when you can post something and a lot of people respond to it, giving you all sorts of advice. And initially that can feel all warm and fuzzy, but then it wears off and you're left with yourself. And sometimes after we have gone through such a catastrophic thing, it's hard being with ourselves. We want to surround ourselves with people that understand us and everything else. And it's glorious and it feels like a warm blanket. But I encourage you to get the one-on-one support that you need. Reach out to one of the experts or the moderators. That's what we're here for. We're here to really get into it, not surface level. Surface level's wonderful. It absolutely is. And if that's what you need, great. You are absolutely in the right place. But if you feel that you need more, by all means, reach out. Okay. So a couple of the comments that I got on the previous summits that I have done. Let's see. I received your 500 Ways to Talk to a New Man After Divorce ebook. Oh my goodness. The suggestion that you made on page 49 was epic, and I used it immediately, and sure enough, I had a date that evening. Didn't go quite as well as I planned, but that's okay, because the first date is usually the most awkward. Thank you so much for your ebook. Really appreciate it. Look forward to your next summit. Mary, thank you so much for your comment. I really, really appreciate it. Yes, I put my heart and soul into that particular ebook, 500 Ways to Talk to a New Man After Divorce, because that's what happens. We get tongue-tied. We also, and that's the topic that I have for today, is roses are red and so are flags. Dating after divorce or interacting after divorce is very challenging because we're raw. We are. We're raw, we're hardened, and we have trouble. We do. First of all, a lot of times we don't even know where to meet another man. And then we have all kinds of questions. Are they a good man? Will they be a good father, a good provider, good all the way around? Or am I attracting the same type of man? Is my ex becoming my next? Am I bringing in to me, am I pulling towards me all of those qualities that just aren't right? They're not right for you, but they're familiar. And because they're familiar, they feel like a nice warm sweater. And if you start getting love bombed, well, wait a second, what's love bombing? Love bombing is when there's two different types. Love bombing by another person, you have to be careful with. The initial intoxication of having someone interested in you and you interested in them, and the sparks fly and it feels so good, and you got those butterflies in your stomach and you just can't wait to see them again. Oh, it's so glorious. It absolutely is. But we want to make sure those intentions are pure. And sometimes the potential partner will love bomb us. They will shower us with so much attention and affection, and we're seen and we're heard, and it feels so good because we're so wounded. We are so wounded. And if your friends and colleagues and family is like, whoa, 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 hold on, slow it down, then you need to think about it. Now, I mentioned there was 2 types of love bombing. That was the first, with an external person. The next one is within yourself. This is where love bombing is great. It's fantastic because you need to love yourself. You do. Picking yourself up off that floor and making a decision to step forward. It's the hardest thing you'll have to do. It truly is. You'll look around and you'll be like, how did I get here? How did I get here? Because the relationship started so well, obviously. You got married, but started so well and everything was wonderful. And again, as I mentioned, whether it was a catastrophic thing or it was a slow burn, you find yourself in this position right now. This is your ecosystem. It's yours. It's you. Focus on you. Do all the wonderful things that you have ever thought of. Make an entire list. Dump it out onto paper. All the wonderful things you want to do, regardless of what they are. Your own bucket list. And it doesn't have to be traveling. It could be, I want to read a book a month. That's not about divorce or anything of that nature. You want to get lost in something, whether that's getting lost in a bookstore or getting lost in a different state or a different country, whatever it is. Write down everything, every single little thing. I want to make something. I want to clay and draw and paint or whatever it is. Whatever brings a smile to your face, we write that down. And now in front of you, you have this giant list of all these wonderful things that are exclusive to you, that fill you up, that allow you to love bomb yourself. And it feels so good. It does. When you can look in the mirror and see the beauty that you have outside and in, because you are. You absolutely are, unequivocally. We all come in different shapes and sizes and everything else. And if we listen to all that outside noise, it gets exhausting. But sometimes we have an inner critic that talks to us even worse than the outside. And that's who we need to work on. That's the conversation that we need to have to let them know, you know what? For today, I got it. I don't need you to remind me of everything I've done wrong, because I need a reprieve. You're wounded. You're hurt. The avalanche of emotions that you have had, and the weight of the world that you are carrying. And if you have children, you've always been Mama Bear, but now you're Mama Bear and Daddy Bear. And it's exhausting. It truly, truly is. And all you want is just a little bit of comfort and just an opportunity to love again, to find happiness again, to find joy again. So I can tell you this: happiness, joy, contentment, it's on the other side of letting go. I know. Letting go is so hard. It truly, truly is. Forgiveness? Oh, that's another one. That's a big one as well. Oh, I could never, ever forgive him. Those are two straitjackets that you are wearing. It's for yourself. You're doing it to yourself. And it's so hard to pull ourselves out of it. I know that. I absolutely know that. But I can tell you this. You will. And when you do, it's glorious. Because when you let go of a little, you will have a little happiness. And if you let go of a lot, you will have a lot of happiness. But if you let go completely, you will be free. You will be liberated. And you have now made room within you to allow the opportunity for somebody else to love you too. You're amazing. You absolutely are. Now, you might be thinking, wait a second, Vanessa, how do you know that? You don't even know me. While that's all true, I do know you. I know the pain. I know the hurt. I know how it feels to think that we're not enough. And I know it's challenging. I know it is. It's a hard road. It is. And it's so unfair. Oh, we haven't even talked about fairness. It's so unfair. And we find ourselves looking around at others, hoping to catch somebody's eye. And you know when that happens, when you catch another woman's eye across the room, and there's that split second of, I see you. I see you. Yeah, no, you can't hide. I see you. Whether it's a little gleam, a little glimmer, whatever it is. And sometimes we just know without words. I know you know this. I know that you know this. Without words, we as women can almost have an entire conversation just with our eyes. How we look at each other, a little nod, a little, yeah, we see it, we know it. Because when we have been wounded, we have armor. We take our heart and we shield it. Oh yeah, we shield it. It's covered, it's in there. I invite you to allow yourself, forgive yourself. There's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of guilt. Oh, so many different emotions that we have. And we want to make sure that we breathe and that we recognize that the only one that we're actually hurting is ourselves. And we actually might be hurting our children. And I know you don't want that. I know above all else that you would cut off your right hand for the sake of your children. I know that unequivocally. I'm going to say with great certainty, 99.9% of women will do pretty much anything for their children, to protect their children. That same tenacity that you have to protect your children, I want you to use that for yourself. Honor yourself. Remember that you are worthy and that you are enough. And the most important thing is, though, something terrible has happened to you, it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. So that was a lot to take in. It was. But I want you to know, as I've mentioned, we're all here for you. We truly are. And if you'd like to connect with any of them, including myself, all our contact information is within. It always is. Alrighty? So I'm going to leave you with a quote. It is absolutely my all-time favorite quote, and I've read hundreds of books. And I always find that within each book, there's a quote that I like. I really, really, really like it. And then I write it down, and I have it on my desk, a Post-it note, for a week or two until something new pops up and a new quote. And I'm like, oh, I like that one. And I replace it. And I put the older quotes into a box just to remind me of those quotes, of those words of wisdom that just spoke right here. And again, keep in mind that all of us here that are for you, we might say something that you don't agree with, and that's absolutely fine. None of us are the be-all, end-all. We all come to you from our own perspective. What we have learned over years, lived through experience, training, you name it, we've done it. And with that being said, it's not the be-all, end-all. So if anything is said that you just, no, that feels icky, toss it. Just toss it, and that's okay. So as I mentioned, I'm going to leave you with the final quote. This quote has been on my desk for 4 months. Yeah, that's how powerful it is. And though I've seen other quotes and I like that one too, it has never mustered up enough for me to replace this particular quote. So, you ready for it? You are the sky. The rest is the weather. You are the sky. The rest is the weather. I want you to keep that in mind because you are glorious. You absolutely are. Look at you. You're here within this group seeking support. Do you know how many people don't seek support? I can do it on my own. But no, you have great strength because you ask for help, because you search it out, you look for it. So please remember, you are the sky, the rest is the weather. Please enjoy the rest of the day. All the wonderful speakers that are coming up warms my heart. It truly does. Because when I went through this, we didn't have as many resources. We really had to dig for them. And here we are, all for you. Please enjoy the rest of the summit, and I will see you next time. Thank you again.